This is the Grumpy Old Gamer podcast, and we're now on to Season 2, Episode 2. And today we're going to be talking about our least favourite subject, which is that you don't actually own shit anymore when it comes to gaming. As usual, Ian's with me. Hey, dude.
How's it going?
I'm good, mate. And you?
Couldn't be better.
You're lying. And you're lying. And with a change to our usual lineup, we've decided to sack Tim, and we've replaced him with the new boy. It's Lucas. Hello, mate.
Hello, everyone. I'm replacing Tim, it seems. Don't tell him.
Well, he'll know because he'll listen to this and he'll be like, what, you know, as he does, grumbles to himself. So, yeah, Lucas, where are you from, mate?
This is going to be interesting for all our English viewers, but I'm from Argentina, actually.
But it doesn't make him a bad person.
Yes, absolutely. Awful. But no, I'm lovely, actually.
You are lovely. I've known you for several months now, and of course you know Ian, and you know the now displaced Tim as well. So welcome to the team, welcome to the podcast, welcome to Grumpy Old Gamer. I'm hoping that you can be very, very grumpy because you're not very old. So it kind of flies in the face of the name, but I think you're going to do all right, aren't you?
I'm very grumpy when it comes for gaming industries, and I'm an old soul. Let's leave it that way for now.
You're a beautiful old soul, So, so today we've come together because we want to talk about subscription-based services and how you don't own anything anymore. And I think that this is actually something which we maybe touched on in the past, where I think it was one of our fuck Ubisoft moments, where I think, was it a guy from Ubisoft who said people need to get used to the fact that they don't own anything anymore. And we was like, what? What's that all about? Ian, I'll come to you first. As the other old person here, when was the last time you bought a physical video game, a physical copy of a video game,
like the CD,
or a cartridge, if you want to go back that far?
I don't know, man. I mean, my laptop doesn't have a CD drive. My PlayStation 5 doesn't have a CD drive, so probably something on the PS4. Wow, I couldn't even tell you. It's been so long.
And I asked myself that question, and I'm exactly the same. I honestly couldn't say when. I mean, I never had a PS4. I have an Xbox Series S, which of course has no disc drive. My PC, which is a beast, has no disc drive. So I haven't bought a physical game in, I can't remember, maybe PS2. That's perhaps how far back I'm going. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Lucas, do you remember the last time you bought a physical game?
I do, actually, because I never bought physical games back in the day. I always downloaded them because I was a PC player back in the day, never a console. I'm talking 2010, 2011, 12, around that time. GTA San Andreas. It wasn't the official version, though. It was some copy a guy made in a basement, but I bought that, and I tried to install it, and my PC started flying around the room. But yeah, that was a copy.
Brilliant. So we've just gone straight into piracy. Fucking mint.
I'm South American. Just letting that fact in the air.
So with that said, Ian and I can't remember the last time we bought a physical. We couldn't actually tell you the last time we bought a physical game. Murphy bought GTA San Andreas from a bloke in a basement sometime in 2010 or whatever it was. So we'll go back 16 years. We have historically complained about subscription services. We've complained about the fact that everything's you license stuff now. It's EULAs, isn't it? And end user licensing agreements, you know, which we click when we install the game. We don't bother to read them. We just say, yeah, click and you get into the game. So, Ian, are we not kind of a bit hypocritical to be complaining about this when we're so immersed in the way that it works?
Oh yeah, I mean, I never read those user agreements. I just scroll right through, assume, yep, it's not going to want my soul or anything. Accept.
But what I'm asking is, are we hypocrites? Because I take it you're here because you don't like the idea that you don't own shit anymore, but then through your actions, you accept the fact that you don't own shit anymore.
We're kind of in a rough space because we have to be, right? Like it's the way that things are, the way that things work now. And there are, I hate to say it, but there are benefits to the digital only model, which is why it's taken over completely. But like, yeah, we're in a rough spot where it doesn't really make sense anymore for us to go out and buy a game. Like it's a hard physical copy. There's no reason to.
Well, there is a reason to. You own the game.
Well, besides that one, yeah.
It's kind of a big one, the fact that if you have the disc,
If you can even find them on sale, yeah.
what do you think, Lucas?
Think with the evolution in the consoles, not only consoles, PC more specific, that everybody knows is the best console ever for gaming and everything. Do you remember exactly when they stopped coming to the market without the disc player installed? Because it was something that happens one day to another, and everyone was okay with it.
The last PC I had didn't have a disc drive. I've only had this one now for about 18 months, and I had the one before that for a couple of years. But before that, I had a disc drive. It didn't get used because I'm so. You're right. PC is the way forward. We are part of the PC master race, and I'm so locked into the Valve Steam ecosystem that I'm aware that there's Epic, and I'm aware that there's GOG, and I don't mean us. I mean good old games, and where there's other digital distributors. But I would never go to a store now to look at what games are. I would never go on Amazon or any other physical distributor to look what games are. I just go straight to Steam. And if something isn't on Steam, I'm not going to play it. I am a hypocrite because I don't like the fact that people can just snatch things away from us without any notice. But I'm still a sucker for it. I still do it. Does that make me a bad person or just a gullible schmuck?
Obviously, you're both. But I think that the subscription model has really taken over. I feel like there's some benefits to it because it's saying that, hey, you have access to all these games for $10 instead of, having to buy them individually for $60. And I think with that the benefit is that it'll kind of lower the barriers a little bit and kind of open up the genres and kind of open up the different possibilities for games you can play, which is the big selling point for it. But it screws you in the long run because you don't as soon as you don't want to pay for that $10 a month or whatever it is anymore, you lose access to all of it. And that's what happened with my PlayStation recently. My tier level changed. My subscription ran out, and I lowered the subscription level, so I didn't have access to all of the games that I previously have access to. And it was a lot of games that suddenly I just can't play anymore. But that's just the way it is. That's just because I didn't want to pay the extra money for the subscription model.
I know this is a gaming podcast, like always, it should be. But if you search in other parts of other things, for example, music, do you guys remember back in the day? I'm talking about my time, but MP3 and Apple subscription for music. Well, that's another example of subscription. And you used to buy the discs, the CDs maybe, but Apple decided to make everything easy for everyone, and now we have Spotify. Then it's a great asset. Don't get me wrong, I love it. But what about movies? Happens too. Netflix, Paramount. Now we have almost 100 different choices for streaming services. So it was about matter of time that games suffer the same thing. The only question is, we are going to let that happen?
With games, though, and I think that when you mentioned Spotify, you're absolutely right. I mean, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Music now, there's so many different platforms where you can consume digital music. And then you're right, Netflix, Disney Plus, Paramount, Hulu, Amazon Prime. There's so many different methods where you can consume audio visual media as well. But you're right, this is a gaming podcast. So those points are actually very, very important to this. But I want to focus in on the gaming model, and something which occurred to me when we were talking earlier was that It was when Ian was saying about when he dropped his PlayStation subscription. And the difference between the PlayStation and Xbox subscription is very interesting, and that's something that we'll cover later on in this episode. If you are working on a game and you want to release that game, and you are not going to be on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or whatever it's called, are you going to do any good? As we move towards this complete, consistent subscription model, are we at the point where you need to be part of that service in order for your game to be successful?
I don't think that's the case. I have an example. Schedule 1. That game wasn't in any service subscription, and that guy is now a millionaire. He only made a fun game. That's the best you can do these days. Do a fun game, an easy one to understand, and just don't bring politics on it, and just probably going to be fine. But I'm afraid that what you just said is going to become a reality sooner than later.
So he's a millionaire.
Yeah.
And if he'd have been released on Game Pass, could he have been a multimillionaire? So do Microsoft and Sony, we're talking specifically about consoles here, do Microsoft and Sony control, because of course they're going to get paid as well, aren't they, when somebody's game is the same as Steam does when they take the 30% cut. But we're talking about the consoles at the moment. And I'm aware Scheduled Run is like a drug dealer simulator, whatever it is, isn't it? You know what I mean? I don't know whether it's on consoles.
Not yet.
But not yet. Could he be a tens of millionaire if he was included in Game Pass? And because he isn't, is he being unfairly restricted because we are moving towards this reliance model on streaming services, or not streaming services, on subscription services?
He potentially could be more millionaire or trillionaire,
Mhm.
maybe. But at the same time, he will need to do another game because basically it's made for PC. But I understand where you're going. It's going to have more visibility for the game for other people so they can buy it. But that's good actually, because that just is going to put more coal in the furnace of streaming payments and things like that.
Is it good? Because what we're doing is we're saying that somebody makes a fantastic game, and I don't just mean it's not good for the developer. It's not good for the audience either. I've never played Schedule One, but I know that Ian's mentioned it before. So now, and you have as well. So clearly, there's something in there because I trust both of your opinions when it comes to games. And we're allowing Sony and Microsoft to determine what we can play. They're saying you cannot play, and I appreciate it's not on consoles, but we do have Game Pass on PC. They're saying you cannot play this game. We will not allow you to play this game as part of our subscription model. That's what they're saying, isn't it?
You're trying to say like the consoles are saying no to the games if they don't accept to be on the Game Pass or the subscription model. That's what you're saying, Al?
Are you asking me to explain myself? I mean, fucking hell. What I'm saying is, we have all these awesome games, Schedule One included, all these awesome games being developed by awesome people who deserve a shot at success, and all these gamers, potential customers who want to play these awesome games. And with the move towards a almost persistent, consistent subscription model, Microsoft and Sony control what can and cannot be played. Is that right? Is that fair?
I would say that they don't really control like that. I mean, they can have it where they increase the player base of a game by adding it to the Game Pass, but I mean, that's still going to be on sale. And for PlayStation, a lot of the times they'll still include, if it's the PlayStation Plus, you get discounts for the game if you do want to buy it, so that you have it for the long term. But I don't know if they can really prevent you.
So here's a question then on that point, and it could be that you prove me completely wrong. When you were a PlayStation Plus subscriber, when did you actually buy a copy of the game, or did you just play the ones which were available on the subscription?
Well, for me, I'll buy a game if I know that it's a game that I just am going to play forever, and I know I'm going to buy it. But if it's a game that I'm not sure of, then yeah, I'll try it out on whatever subscription thing. I'll try like it's a demo.
So you try it on the subscription thing, and then you make a decision to buy it. But if it's not on the subscription thing, how do you know you like it, and then therefore go and buy it?
I mean, it's like at the old days. You know, you have to ask yourself, is this game going to be really sweet, or before you spend $60 on it, and you gotta know from word of mouth and just.
In my opinion, there is two ways these days that people use Game Pass. The first one is just lazy and just buy that to have some games to play you don't care much about. And the way I use it, and probably most people should, or they do actually, is a testing thing. Like you buy the Game Pass 1 month, you test the games you are interested in, and then you buy it on Steam. I don't know if that's why you're trying to make the point there, Al, but having these models as a replacement is not a good idea. But they're good for helping, like a tool. They're good, but they're not the solution for gaming. That's my opinion.
I understand where you're coming from, and I do appreciate what you're saying. However, the point that I'm making is this. You say, well, you go on Game Pass and you try these games, but you can only try the games that Microsoft puts on Game Pass. You can't try anything else. So, and you're a PC gamer, so it's not going to apply to you as much as it would an Xbox gamer. They will only try the games which are available on Game Pass. So they're missing out on huge numbers of titles, and developers are missing out on huge numbers of customers because Microsoft are controlling what is actually available. And I just think, are we okay with that? Are we okay with Microsoft making a decision on what's acceptable for us to try on console?
Yeah, they're making the market for those people more small, if that's the point, because they have only those available. I now understand what you're talking about. Yes, it's unfair, but at the same time, I'm going to gain a lot of comments with this. But if you're on console, it's your own fault. Go to PC and just be a man.
You can be a console player and computer player. Like you can get along. We can all get along, people.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But with these new ways to do marketing for these console people, they're being unfair. Like Al said, you have only a few games available, and if they're not the Game Pass, you can't try it unless you buy them, and they're really expensive.
So here's an interesting thing then. So remember 2 weeks ago when we did the game recommendation episode, Ian? Have you played any of them yet?
I have not yet.
No, that's fine. Neither have I. In fact, what I have done is I've played the game that I recommended to Tim. I've been playing that quite a lot recently. Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. I think it's just brilliant. So I've really fallen into that rabbit hole. But I remember I suggested to you Stellaris, and I said there's a DLC issue there. Because there's so many DLCs, and if you bought them all, it would cost you 400 quid. I says, but maybe you should try the subscription. And here we are saying subscriptions suck and it shouldn't happen and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, but then 2 weeks ago, I was like, oh yeah, just get a subscription. So is there some bias in this as well that I was all up for? And if you said to me, I've just subscribed to Stellaris for $10 a month in order to go and test this game that you said that you think I would like, I'd have been like, oh, that's fantastic, excellent. I wouldn't be like, oh, you're a sucker, you're buying into bad practices and all this kind of stuff. So is there some issues here with our personal bias? And if you have a good experience of the games which are available on Game Pass and on PlayStation, is it called the PlayStation Store? This isn't it. So if you've got had a good experience of Game Pass and PlayStation Store, then you'll be like, well, what are these three idiots talking about? They're full of shit because I get access to great games. Is there some personal bias coming into this? And do I need to just, stop being a grumpy old bastard and just get on with my life?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Let me ask you a question then. What happens if one day, God forbid this, but you lost your job, for example, or you don't have that money at the end of the month for allow you to buy Game Pass? What happened then? You're not going to play? Instead buying it. I'm not saying Steam because we are going to touch this topic probably, but Steam has that terrifying message that's saying this is not yours. If you buy the game, you can have it downloaded, you can play it, even if you don't have that money at the end of the month because you already buy it. It has less benefits than actually you think of the payments. It's just a way to try games, in my opinion.
It does, however, to counter that point, if how much is the? Okay, they recently put the price up of the Game Pass, didn't it? It's like, is it almost $30 now? Is that about right? It's just ridiculous. In fact, I'll tell you a story. So my kids wanted to play Minecraft, and I've been putting them off because I have this Xbox Series S, which has been sat in its box doing nothing. Daddy, we want Minecraft. We want Minecraft. So I was like, fine, I'll have a look and see whether I can get Minecraft to work. Went on to put the Xbox on, managed to sign in, and it said, here's your Game Pass Unlimited for £1. What the hell? So I took this trial because I knew Minecraft was on the Game Pass. Forgot to cancel it, and they've just charged me 23 quid for the next month. But really what I wanted to do was have it for 1 month and then buy Minecraft, because that's all they want to play, and I don't play anything on there. Am I now trapped in this weird situation where I'm now going to be paying for Game Pass because you just forget? But then it's £23 a month for Game Pass, which gives me access to Fortnite, Minecraft, and GTA 5, for example. What game can I buy for £23, which is going to keep me as entertained as what Game Pass is going to do? That's my question to you.
Your main goal was trying Minecraft. So after buying it, how much is Minecraft?
16 quid. 20 quid, but I get a discount as a Game Pass subscriber. So I think it's 16 quid at the moment.
So you paid an extra month without knowing, of course, and you can actually bought the game
for less.
For less, yes. So there is a good example, and I mean, you have the other games now, but at the same time, you didn't want to because that wasn't the main idea you had. Your main idea was trying a game and let's see if I can buy it later, and you missed because, well, that happens to everybody. Like, you forgot to pay or to cancel the subscription is a common error, and they live of those errors.
So you're calling me an idiot then, aren't you, is what you're doing?
Yeah, of course. But I mean, polite.
You're not being polite. Fuck you.
I think the key here is that you have to use a combination of the two things where, you try the Game Pass out on the subscription model, you get to play Minecraft, see if you like it, and then you buy it. Then you can go in and decide if you want to cancel your Game Pass or if you want to keep it. But I think that the way the systems work best when they're together, when you can buy the game or you could, play it on the Game Pass. Like, you got to have the two different options. If you were stuck with just the one option where you could only play it off subscription or only play it if you owned it, it wouldn't be as enjoyable. It wouldn't reach as big of an audience. And I think that's what they're trying to do at the end of the day, is just reach the biggest audience they can, and which will also help lead to more sales.
Do you think that's something to do with the price increase in Game Pass has come because Microsoft's current hardware sales are dismal?
For what I understood, that increase in price was because they tried to add EA games subscription in the same price, like fusion together EA Game Pass with Game Pass actually to make one, and that's why the price go that high.
Word on the street is that the reason why they increased the price of their Game Pass was because of their dismal console sales.
It was about having a fusion between EA Pass and Game Pass, and that's why the price went that up highly and that fast, because they mixed the EA games on Game Pass. I think that was the reason.
Can you do EA games on Game Pass now?
That's what I heard. Yes, I don't have Game Pass, but I'm pretty sure that was the reason why the price went up and people just freaked out.
Because I had EA Plus Pro, whatever it was called, last year to try Battlefield 6. Cancelled it because I was smart. I have Game Pass now. Forgot to cancel it because I'm stupid. I know that in last season we talked about when Game Pass first came out and people were having to get their parents to pay for it because we were all children back then. At least Tim was. God rest his soul. He's gone from us now. But but now, like, I was thinking, I won't miss that 23 quid. You know, the only reason I would cancel it is because I'm being quite mean and saying no, I'm not going to use it. But the fact that it went out, I wasn't like, oh, I can't believe I've lost it. I was like, oh well, never mind, just move on, and I didn't like go on and must cancel it now so it doesn't come out again, you know, and I'll probably miss it again. And are we in a situation where, because we have now grumpy old gamers who are playing games on consoles, on Xboxes, PlayStations, and also on PCs, are we in a situation where the amount of money or disposable income which exists for people who are playing these games is sufficient that they don't actually really think or care about throwing $30 at a option to be able to play a selection of games, and some really good games as well, a selection of games whenever they choose to. So are Microsoft kind of counting on the fact that they have a collective audience of gullible idiots who will continue to fund them?
Yes and no. One thing that when I did have the Game Pass that I was using it for was the actually the cloud streaming, like playing the game off of their servers, and it was included at I think the premium level or whatever, like certain level of the Game Pass. So for that one, I wasn't even like using it for access to all the games, which was a nice plus, but it wasn't the main reason I was there. I was there because so I could play games that I wanted to play on a potato, laptop or tablet or whatever. So I think there's more benefits for the Game Pass specifically, but I can't really speak towards the other ones as much.
So that's an interesting way to look at it then, in terms of cloud gaming, because a lot of people say that cloud gaming is the future, where everything is run in the cloud and then just streamed to your device. And everyone's got super fast internet now, so they can handle that kind of stuff. So is that, I mean, because we don't just want to be miserable, negative bastards all the time. You know, we have to look at the positives as well as the negatives. Is that not a positive? It doesn't really matter whether I have a potato PC. If I have a subscription to somewhere which is going to allow me to stream games from the cloud, then is that not something which we should embrace? Is it not a great equalizer? So, you have people like Ian and I in our ivory towers in the United States and the United Kingdom, and we have Lucas in a third world country who gets to play the same games as us, as long as he's got a TV.
You are talking about you are talking about fair enough, but you're talking about something that is actually scary if you think about, because imagine you just bought a PC, right now. Just forget about the RAM prices and everything that's going on with AI. But you go buy a new PC, brand new, and 2 months from now, the Amazon head decide to make all gaming cloudy for everyone, just like that. What are you gonna do? You are going to probably cry in your bed at night because it's just not a good idea. I understand the idea of having people playing the games and be able to, but at the same time, it's an awful idea because it's going to be something that everyone's going to do. It's not like a choice. It's more about replacing the actual model of gaming, and that's no, I don't like that. I really
Why?
don't.
What's
Why
wrong with it?
not? I like having my PC. We are talking about you don't own your shit in this episode. Well, Cloudy Games is a subscription. You don't have even a PC now in that idea. You don't have a PC, you don't have a console, you just have a TV and internet connection. And then what? Internet connection is a pay subscribe also. So you're basically paying for everything. And if you don't have any money, you can't play. If you don't have internet connection that day, you can't play.
I think that there is some benefit to it because I mean, I was talking to one of my friends earlier. Was like, "Oh, you should play this game," but they're like, "Oh, they can't because their computer can't handle it or whatever." But with the cloud gaming like they have on Game Pass, they could for what $20 or whatever drop in, or maybe $2 if they use the like free pass or whatever. They could drop in and play games with people immediately, basically, without like any real setup. So there is some benefit to that because it's instead of them having to spend hundreds to thousands of dollars on a whole gaming rig, it's just the subscription that they're paying to play things online. So as long as the internet can handle it, I think that it's feasible. It's not ideal situation, but I think that it's. I mean, for me, it was usable when I was using it.
Let me say other thing for you. Let's go back in time. Remember when we were kids and a new kid show up with a shiny new thing? What was the thing? Oh, I want something that is accessible for me. No, it was more like you're going to get bullied if you don't have it. You have to find the way to have it. So let's bring back that almost beautiful tradition of make people feel bad for not having things, because that make those people try harder to have them. It's call me old, call me mean, but at the same time, it's a good idea.
I was laughing because when you were a kid, I had kids. So we let's go back to when we were kids. It's like, come on, man, just laughing about it. But it's like I have kids the same age. No, they're not. But you know what I mean. There's not far off. When you were a kid, I had a child. So anyway, the point I wanted to make about that is, are you not being a little bit elitist? And isn't and he said, well, there's some benefits, but I think there's so many benefits if we go into a full cloud-based system. Because let's face it, we're all kind of on the hook for subscription services anyway. Yeah, as you say, your internet, Game Pass. What's the other one? The PlayStation one. Netflix, which is cloud-based, isn't it? You're not. You can stream it in 4K. You just have to have the necessary equipment at the point of reception to be able to display. But you can stream 4K movies on Netflix. You can stream the highest quality audio on Spotify if you wish to do so. Is this cloud? If you have a cloud subscription, is it not a great equalizer? It means that no matter the amount of money that you have to be able to spend $2,000 on a PC, you can play the same games. And should we not, as gamers, and I'm not being grumpy now, I'm being idealistic, should we not, as gamers, embrace the equalizing ability of cloud gaming to say that we can all play the same games on no matter on whatever monitor or screen we choose to? Should we not embrace that as a route forward for gaming?
In my opinion, absolutely not. I
Well, why?
understand where you're coming from. Let me explain it.
Okay, explain it.
It's a good choice for having it. Yes, I don't want that to replace the model we have now. I would like that as a choice for people who doesn't have enough money. But remember that the human nature is about having more than the other people. If we get the same things as others, it's just going to get bored and boring. And yeah, in my opinion, a humble opinion, it's always good having things of your own and buy them and building with your own hands. Also, building a PC with your own hands and having the fear of breaking something. It's game changing. Once you put everything together, you turn on your PC and the lights start and you have a screen and you see your motherboard turning on. It's like, oh nice, I made it. They're going to take that away if they replace that.
But do you not think it's a bit elitist to say, well, I don't want other people to have the same access to games as what I have because I have more than what they have? I mean, this maybe is my European adjacent socialist liberal head talking here. But why should we have exclusive access to games? Why can't the dude in Madagascar have the same access to play Space Marine 2 as what I do, as long as he's got a screen and and a fast internet connection?
Those things are also elitist, mate. Let me break it to you. Having a good connection these days is not for everyone.
So, but it's become far more ubiquitous. So many more people have fast internet. I remember dial-up. Ian remembers dial-up. We remember when it was like you couldn't talk on the telephone and also have your fucking internet on. As the world moves forward, you're right. Not everybody has fast internet, but more people have fast internet than have a £2,000 PC machine.
That's completely true. But like you say, this sounds like a utopia. Like it's like a dream. it's not a bad dream. I would love to have everyone in the world have the chance to play games like we do, but at the same time, it's not the way the world works. There is always something and someone above you and someone below you, and it sucks, but that's the way life is now, and we can't try to change that fact for now. But I would love to see people who can't play games, because I love games, and they should have the chance to play it. Let's put it that way. I'm not trying to be mean by saying I have more than them. It's just it was a joke
Well,
about
that's
having. I know. It sounded
that's
bad.
the way it's coming across. I'm thinking, who is this elitist motherfucker who's come onto this podcast? Bring back Tim. You know, I mean, at least he's a bit nicer about things than what you are. No, I have a great PC and you don't, and therefore only I get to play the great games. It's a bit, it's very
I
elitist.
mean, depends on the day. Today is Thursday. Yeah, well, I'm elitist today, but now the truth is,
Are you having your period?
yes. Yeah, because I have my paycheck today, so yeah, that's my period. But yeah, then you realize that those people should have that chance. I was taking the piss.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with just getting the trying out the cloud game while you save up to that dream of eventually getting your own personal PC. But that's an investment for people. I mean, there are cheaper options like getting a PlayStation or a Steam Deck or whatever the Steam console cube thing coming out, whatever that's going to be called. But I think they work best in harmony with each other. So one thing that used to exist that doesn't really exist anymore is the concept of selling used games. And I used to work at a video game store that would sell used games, which is great for the consumer because it's like, hey, you can buy this game brand new for the $50, or you can get it for used for 35. That's a no brainer. But I think that the reason that that's good that they stopped doing that is because the game producers, the people who actually make the games, don't actually get any of the money from that. At least on a Steam sale, they get paid for that, and then I'm sure they get some kind of notification if like they get numbers based off of how many people are getting off Game Pass.
I would say to those game sellers or those developers, tough shit. Right, because and I'm gonna this is a hill I will die on. If I buy something, I should own that product, and what I decide to do with it is nobody's business but mine. One thing that I missed is trade-ins. So we had like CEX and all these different places where you could I'd buy a game on the PlayStation 2. I'm going back a long time, and I'd play it and I'd complete it, and then I'd go back to the store and I would trade it in for my next game, or I would say to a mate, and this is something that we don't do anymore. It's like I say to a friend, well, you buy one game, I'll buy the other, we'll play them, and then we'll swap them. And we get the benefit of being able to play two games whilst only paying for one. And once the game is sold, is it really anybody? They've decided the price they're going to sell a game at. They say, I want to sell this game for $60. Once I pay my $60, it's fuck all to do with them what I do with that game. And this is where I think Steam has us on the hook, because Lucas, how many games have you got in your Steam library now, approximately?
Almost 500.
500.
I'm missing 4.
And I think I have about 400, maybe between 400 and 500. And Ian doesn't have as many as us because I think he's have been like a recent PC convert.
I'm like 50, yeah.
So of those almost 500 games, how many did you buy? How many do you play now?
How many I bought? All of them, but how many play? That's another different hard question. Most of them are sitting there because everybody knows that Steam has really good discounts, and those are traps. You just buy them, you don't play it. But I also have to put this in the table. I used to have a notebook. I couldn't play nothing. Like you said, I was almost falling into the cloud gaming team. But then I decided to, I'm not saying this is the way, but I should start working. I started saving money, and I bought my first PC. It wasn't great. It was integrated graphics. Sorry for not being that much of a Burgese, but at the same time, I start buying games here and then in discounts and having them for later. So when I got my PC, I already got like 300 games for playing.
But then, so this is it. You buy a game and you play it, and then it sits never to be played again. And of course, I often think in terms of with digital, it doesn't matter whether you sell one game or a million games. If you're released on digital, the difference in cost to distribute is negligible. The cost for production is the same whether you sell one or a million, but the cost to distribute is the same whether it's one or a million. So I just think that, I don't know, man. It's one of those situations where I just think, well, at least with Ian's take on this, which is that you had a physical copy of a game, and when you finished with it, you could sell it. Have you tried to sell a Steam game that you've finished playing? You can't do it.
You can't. You have to sell your
You
whole
can't do it.
account.
You can't do it. You're locked into this ecosystem. You can't do it. And I guess this is the other part of the or a kind of like an adjacency part to this. You don't own shit anymore. Once you own it forever. You can't sell it on.
Mm-hmm.
If I spend £10,000 on a car and I drive it for 5 years, I then sell it for £5,000. I recoup some of that money that I paid for it. If I buy a game for $60 and play it for 100 hours, I can't get any of the money back. And you used to be able to do that.
And that's not even talking about renting games where you could just rent them for a week or so and then just return them. So then you're only paying like $6 or whatever it was to rent at the time.
Yeah. Could you get them in Blockbuster?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Blockbuster, Lucas?
I never met one. I know what it is, but this is breaking point for everyone. But I never met one.
I've worked at a couple, including one that was video game based. Yeah.
So this is it. You used to be able to rent games, and
Mm-hmm.
so here's an interesting thing. Then you used to be able to rent games. Are subscription models not just video game rentals? You don't own them. You just pay to access them for a limited period of time, which is as long as you're willing to pay, and then you give them back.
Pretty much, yeah.
So when we're in a situation saying that we miss the times when you could rent games, we miss the times when you could sell games after you'd played them, is subscription, and maybe this is a bit of a twist, is subscription-based gaming not taking us back to the good old days where you paid a small fee to be able to enjoy something? And are we the real idiots here because we're sat with, between Lucas and I, 1,000 games in our collective Steam libraries, and we play a handful? Who's the mug? The person paying for the streaming service or the subscription service, or the two guys sat here with 1,000 games between them in their Steam libraries that they're never ever going to play again and can't do anything with?
One of them has really, really smartness, but the other one is cool. I'll let you know which one's cool. Because I have some games in my stream and I wear them like a medal, basically. Like look at what I have here. I bought this. It's mine. And the other one is like, okay, I'm going to be smart with my money. I'm going to just pay 1 month and play these games, and that's it. So I don't see commitment of that person to the gaming industry.
So which game are you talking about which you're proud of having?
All of them. I've never bought a game I didn't want to. My favorite game in my library is South Park Stick of Truth.
So here's the question. Do you own that game?
I own a right to play it, thanks to
And this is exactly the situation, exactly the problem we're talking about. You're saying, I'm so proud that I managed to get this game and I have this game. It's fantastic and I can play it whenever I want to. No, you can't. You can play it as long as they allow you to play it. You never own that game. A subscription service is the problem, or is Steam the problem here? Where they give you they trick you into thinking that you own it because it's in your library and you can see it. But at any point, they can just pull the plug and you can no longer play that game anymore. You don't own shit. Hence the title of this episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, we find a conclusion.
But there are alternatives, aren't there? Lucas, tell me about good old games, GOG.com.
Yes, that it's a beautiful idea that someone had, so we can buy games and actually own them, because they are. I don't remember the term is free.
DRM-free, yes.
Yes, so you buy the game and you have the files available for you anytime you want to download it in your PC, in another system. But what is the problem with this? They don't have all the games. It's just a few bunch games they have. And that's the concerning part, because if you think about it, what happened with the other games that they don't have? Why they can access those games to sell them?
So I think that it's just kind of like the older games, right? It's more of like the niche games, the games that you really really old PC games.
They're trying to make like a place where you can find old games, but they are actually selling new games too. I think the Witcher 3 is on the is it. I mean, it can be considered old, but not that old. Like saying GTA San Andreas, for example, the original. I think the reason is just the companies behind those games. They are not giving the rights to GOG, so they can sell those games without like the licenses. They are not allowed to sell the licenses to people.
Good old games, GOG, started, as you say, as a service to bring back old titles which you couldn't play. So, I mean, I remember getting Star Wars Supremacy or Rebellion, Star Wars Rebellion, as it's called in the United States, and I loved that game when it first came out. I played it. I have the big box, so it was one of the. I bought the physical copy of that game, and of course, it didn't play on modern machines. For one, I didn't have a disk drive, so you kind of like you're screwed to begin with. But also with graphics cards and all this kind of stuff, and it wasn't supported. I could buy it on Good Old Games, and I could play it again, and it was great, and that's how it started. And they still do this thing where they, I think it might be called the Preservation Society, or am I thinking of the Italian job? I can't quite place it, but I think it's called the GOG Preservation Society, where they take these old games and they rebuild them so they work on modern machines. But I've just got on to GOG.com now, and Chronos: The New Dawn was released on the 6th of September 2025, 5 months ago, and it's available on GOG. So they are changing their business model from one which was just preservation of old games in order to be able to release games, to release new games as well. It's DRM free, so digital rights management, which I think is ultimately what we've been complaining about, is that DRM means that they can control your access. DRM free means they can't control your access. If I buy Chronos: The New Dawn on Good Old Games, that's mine. I have to really appreciate that about Good Old Games, and I would love to see them become more popular. Now, I think that if I read rightly, they've been bought out and they're now owned by, and I could be completely wrong, CG Project Red. Is that? I think they're a Ukrainian developer.
I was about to ask the same question because I have in my head that they are behind Cyberpunk and the Witcher franchise. Yes, I think yes they are working with them or they are owning GOG. I'm not sure, but
I'm sure I've read somewhere, and please correct me in the comments if you think I'm completely wrong. Or come to our Discord and tell me that I'm talking shit if I am talking shit. But I think that GOG has now gone fully independent and is owned wholly by the guy behind Cyberpunk and games like that. This can only be a good thing for the gaming industry, or for maybe not for the gaming industry, but certainly for gamers, for game consumers like what we are, because we're going to see more new titles released on GOG rather than relying on Steam. And once you buy it on Good Old Games, you own it. as we said a few minutes ago, Lucas, where you said that you're proud of this game on Steam, but you don't own it. But if you bought it on GOG, you would. Why are we still using Steam? Other than the fact that they have a huge library, so you can buy more games there. The interface is excellent. I know it's bloated now, but it does exactly what you want it to do. And because, as you say, we like to collect things, all of my other games are on Steam. So why would I not just add another game to Steam?
Yes, that's one of the many reasons, and also because Steam is, even with this trouble about not owning things, Steam is still the best store for gaming in all the world. Basically, there is none other store that offers the things Steam offers, and also they always try to do good discounts. That's the thing. They play with that 19% off in a game you really wanted, and it's like, thank you very much. I'm going to buy that now.
I was having a conversation with somebody about Steam, and they said, "Oh, they have a monopoly." If they have a monopoly, and I would argue that they perhaps don't, because they don't use abusive business practices to close down their competitors. Epic exists, GOG exists. I'm sure there's others as well. So they don't use predatory or abusive business practices to close down their competition. They just do it right. They do it better. They do it in the way that we want them to do it. And because they started so long ago and we all became invested in that ecosystem, we continue to use it. When you open Steam, the first thing you see is the Steam store. Oh, discount. Oh, sale. Oh, event. And you're straight in there. You open up Steam and it gives you a pop-up with offers which are available now. They do it really, really well, and that's why we're invested. But you don't own anything on Steam. Technically, Steam could close down your account. And what are you going to do?
That's a concerning fact, because, like you said, Steam is the best. And there is a lot of people in Steam. Almost every gamer on PC have a Steam account. And what happens if Steam tomorrow decide to just disappear? What happened?
Yeah. So what happened to all those games? I mean, I must have thousands of pounds worth of games, if not multiple thousand. And I'm sure you're the same. If you've got 500 games, you've not paid $2 per game.
Oh, I do. Remember, I have regional prices.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Don't piss me off any more than you need to.
Wait, also that's another worth thing to mention. Regional prices for countries that doesn't have that money, economy, or stability. That you have that choice too. Steam decides to say, like, I'm a Chad, and I'm going to say you have to pay less than the other people, and you can buy games now. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
On these points, you're aware of and I think we talked about this in the past, maybe in season 1, which you're aware of the Stop Killing Games initiative from the EU.
Yeah, yes, I heard about that, and I think it's a really good thing that is happening, because there is games that I played and then I can't play anymore.
Yeah, and this will stop that practice. The EU are and I think it's going to lawmakers. It achieved enough signatures to be able to be taken to the EU Parliament to be debated. And if the EU enshrine this in law, it will become. And I appreciate there's there'll be some American-centric people out there who say we don't give a fuck what the EU says, but ultimately it will become enshrined in law, because that's just what happens. If the EU make a ruling to say that if you release a game, you must make sure that the person who purchases that game has irrevocable, permanent access to that game, that shit will roll downhill. It did with Steam's refund policy, where you have, is it 2 weeks and so many hours, and if at any point you decide within that time frame, actually I don't like this game, you can just get a refund, no questions asked. Ian in America benefits from that, but that was an EU ruling, and Steam, well, if we're doing it there, we're going to have to do it everywhere. And if this comes in, if the Stop Killing Games initiative comes in, if it's made a law in the EU, it will become a feature in the US as well, because Steam have done that already. There's a track record of them following suit. As much as we all know that the Americans are very cutthroat and far more capitalist than us socialist wankers over in Europe. This can only be a good thing for us, can't it?
Yeah, hopefully. That'd be great.
You mentioned Steam, right? I think it's not meant only for Steam. This is for all the companies that make games, right? It's not focused on Steam per se. It's more like, for example, Ubisoft, for example. They decide to make a game and then they decide, no, okay, that game is not going to have an online mode anymore. It's going to be discontinued.
I just mentioned Steam because we almost exclusively use Steam for our libraries, and I'm sure, as you say, most PC gamers have a Steam account, and most PC gamers use Steam in order as their primary source for new games. So that's the only reason I use Steam. But yes, it'll be all developers, all publishers, all manufacturers of games will be required to ensure that those games can be played offline. So if you have a game which requires, and I know we keep mentioning Space Marine 2 because I play a lot of it at the moment. And thank you for always rescuing me, Lucas, when I'm doing really, really badly in Space Marine 2.
My pressure.
But talking about Space Marine 2, when Saber Interactive closed down the servers for Space Marine 2, it will no longer be playable.
I mean, we maybe are not going to be able to play online because, well, it makes sense. Sometimes servers close. But one thing is not be able to play online, and the other thing is not be able to play the game itself.
Exactly. And that's the purpose of this legislation, is that if you buy a game, you will have persistent, permanent access to the game because you've paid for it. In response to this, they rolled out these industry people saying it's a bad idea and all this kind of stuff. And Ubisoft pulled a blind by saying, people need to get used to the fact that they don't own anything anymore, which is kind of the reason why we're doing this episode, because fuck Ubisoft, you know?
Indeed.
I just think it's a really good thing. And I think that it should be supported by everybody, not just, and I'm not in the EU anymore because of Brexit, but everybody should be supporting this. They should be keeping an eye on it. And if you see it anywhere, support it, upvote it, like it, whatever. Because it's a really good thing for us. And I think on that happy note, gentlemen, because I'm conscious of time, we'll call it a day. Is that all right?
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. Yeah.
Ian, how do you think that Lucas has done for his first outing? Should we keep him as a permanent replacement for Tim?
Float his ego up too much. If you want Tim back, just put #bringbacktim in the comments. How about that? But no, I think Lucas did a good job. He did a great job.
Have we been all right with you for your first outing?
Yes, I only have one thing to say. Sorry, Tim. They get your job.
All of your jobs have been moved to South America. You know,
we outsourced this job to Argentina.
You've been outsourced. So fuck you. Listen, anyway, if you've made it this far and you've listened to this episode all the way through, thank you very much. I'm conscious that it's gone on for a little bit, but I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to these two idiots about not owning anything as much as I think it's frustrating. It is the way it is. But if you've made it this far, do me a favor, however you are listening to this, be it on Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Apple, whatever it might be, hit the follow or the subscribe button. It shows that people are listening to us, and it also gives us a boost. That means that more people will be able to listen to us as well. So everybody benefits from our wonderful, wonderful personalities and our bullshit conversations. So please do that. Thanks for listening. Ian, thank you. Lucas, thank you. This has been the Grumpy Old Gamer podcast. We'll finish with these two things. Fuck Ubisoft. Fuck Tim.